Welcome back to Neat Talk. In this segment of Neat Talk, I am going to be discussing Chapter 7 of my book, and the name of that chapter is Exceptional Student Education and the Minority Student. I would like to begin by reading just a little bit from the beginning of this chapter so we're all in the same accord. Exceptional Student Education, or ESE, refers to children who are gifted and those with disabilities who need specially designed instruction and related services. Specially designed instruction and related services. So let's talk for a moment about how this looks. First of all, unfortunately, the past and in history, we've seen far too many of our minority students labeled as being ESE kids when indeed they were not. Sometimes people don't want to deal with our students the same way they would deal with their counterparts, and so sometimes it's easy to slap a label. On the other hand, we have some of our students who are ESE but have not received the testing nor the accommodations or the modifications necessary to help them be the very best student they can become. So this is twofold. One, we want to make sure that our kids are given every opportunity to be as successful as possible if they're not ESE within the regular day, the regular courses, the regular placements. But if they are ESE parents and educators, we must not overlook the need to provide them with either accommodations or modifications or whatever it is to help them be successful. Sometimes our kids are not tested when they should be for gifted, because gifted means that those kids are doing extremely well with their subject matter, and sometimes it may be even too easy for them, and that could be just as bad as not getting what you need to reach that particular grade level. Because if a child is gifted and they're not being challenged to their fullest potential, they may lose interest altogether, and that is something we do not want to happen. But in this particular chapter here, I focus mostly my attention on students who need additional support, additional services, students who need those IEPs, the individualized educational plans, because that's important. If a child struggles with a particular situation concerning their education and those needs are not being met, they may tune out, they may become disrupted, which then leads to other problems for them. Perhaps they're suspended or expelled. We want none of that to happen. So parents, my advice in this segment is, if you even think your child may need to be tested for ESE services, request that from your guidance counselors. Follow through, go to those meetings, and make sure that your child knows the plan that is set for them. Make sure they understand when they're supposed to receive particular services, they know what those services are so that they are not overlooked. On the other hand, if you're being told that your student is ESE when they have not evaluated, observed them long enough, or made the necessary precautions to ensure this child is receiving exactly what they need before just blatantly saying they're ESE, then don't just accept that. We have to make sure our kids get what they need, period, in the story. In this chapter, if you get my book, you'll see I spoke with two ESE professionals. One is an advocate for ESE kids. That is critical. The advocates are experts in the ESE world. They know when your child is supposed to receive particular accommodations or modifications. They know when your child is receiving the exact plan that has been developed by them, or for them, by the team. And they can give you advice on how to ensure that your child is successful and graduates on time. Because I always say that is the ultimate goal, is to get them to graduation. So please don't overlook inquiring about an educational advocate for your child, an ESE advocate. I also talked with another woman here who talks about sometimes parents are embarrassed that their child may show signs of needing additional support. There is no need to be embarrassed. We all have our different struggles. Make sure that if your child shows those signs, get them the help they need. I'll give you a little quick story. She shared with me, as I spoke with her, this particular teacher, There was one set of parents who she told them that their child needed some help. And the parents were like, because of their cultural reasons or whatever it may have been, they were adamant that their child would not receive the support. So this child struggled greatly throughout the entire school year. I believe they were probably in about the 3rd or the 4th grade. And they did not get the help they needed. They did not do well in the state assessments. They struggled. And so she felt so badly for this child. And of course, she wanted to have additional follow-up conversations with the parents, but they were just so adamant. The child ended up making it to the next grade, but barely. And that's not what we want. We don't want our black and brown kids barely getting by. They deserve the very best from us. So if you have any comments about the ESE world, anything you'd like to offer my audience, please send me a message. Let's talk about it. Let's make sure all of our kids get the services that they need. So I ask you also, before I leave, please subscribe to my channel. Follow me on my Facebook, Anitha Jones Author, my Instagram, @Anitha Jones, and please don't forget to go to my website, anithajones.com, and subscribe to my monthly newsletter. I appreciate you guys so much for joining me, and have a wonderful day.